Beautiful. And Coach, you've talked a lot. You mentioned the Rams, and for a while we didn't see much relocation in pro football. And then I think it's been about 10 years now, we saw kind of a shakeup with the Rams coming back to LA, Chargers moving to LA, which is still a head scratcher for me, and then my favorite team, the Raiders, moving down to Vegas. People now look at the Rams, and I think some might forget the St. Louis era. Not you, of course. You're a head coach of the St. Louis Rams when they won the Super Bowl. You know, I think sometimes when a team moves, I'm a fan of the A's and Raiders, right? These teams move, the cities get, crapped on, part of my language,
Yeah.
in the media, right? For better or worse. Some may be true, some not. The stadium gets crapped on the fans. Fans should never get the blame, as far as I'm concerned. What are some misconceptions about, maybe St. Louis as a football town and the St. Louis Rams fan base that, some folks maybe might be forgetting about from that you can reflect on from your time there?
Well, I think all cities with professional teams that have successful professional teams become identified. St. Louis was always considered a baseball city and not a real football city. But any
Right.
city becomes what it wants to be when that team is successful. All of a sudden, you have two fan bases. St. Louis Cardinals, a great, consistently well run organization, world class. Okay. The
Yeah.
Rams were not, they were losing. They were the losingest team in the 90s when we took them over in 97. And 3 years later, they won the Super Bowl because of the contribution of so many people, way beyond just Dick Vermeil. But the city became a great football town. You couldn't get a seat in the stadium. Every marketing tool that was used to sell skyboxes, whatever it was, signage, everything was sold out, you know. So it became a great football town as well. And I can understand the business side of it. You know, the minute St. Louis Rams went back and became the Los Angeles Rams again, the value of that franchise doubled. And we're talking about millions of dollars, okay? And people criticize Stan Kroenke, which I'm disappointed had a move. But I'm not surprised. Any major corporation that could double the value of their corporation and for everybody involved would probably do the same thing. Okay. They just sometimes you can't help but do it. That's what you do in the business side of any business. I think it really hurts St. Louis. When you go back there, it isn't the same on that stadium anymore. And everybody I talk to when I go back there, they really miss the Ram days. They really, really miss it because Mike Martz took my job and went on and did a beautiful job for a few years there with them. Uh, the USFL Football League, Extra League, is successful in there. They draw more like 28,000 people in that stadium, more than anybody else does.
Right.
Uh, it's a great city, but without the St. Louis Rams, uh, the city isn't what it was or what it became in that era. And they really miss it. I went back there a year ago, January. No, I guess it was this year, January, for the anniversary. And they put a banquet. The banquet was packed in the Missouri uh, Sports Complex there. Beautiful old building, similar to the Union League in Philadelphia. And it was just a beautiful banquet, just absolutely beautiful. And everybody there was so sincere and appreciative of what we did when we were there, and missed so much not having their St. Louis Ram team there or a professional football team. You know. But that's how that's the business side of the sport.
You and I first met, Coach. You